Today's going to be about reason 4561 as to why I'm so glad I left New York. Hello everyone, this is Keith. Welcome to the Ghetto Sapien channel, your home of inner city intelligence. It's Independence Day. I'm wearing a Constitution Matters t-shirt just to piss off folks who were so upset about some of the Supreme Court rulings that came out over the last couple of days. And I really did wear this in some of the more left-wing areas of Georgia, and some people looked happy, some people looked stabby. But either way, no one really said anything to me directly. Sorry about that. I hope I can sneeze. Such bad timing. So I read an article about New York City and the latest debacle that's going on. As you know, I'm from New York originally. Spent the first 30 plus years of my life there, and had to leave because my wife and I wanted to buy a house. Couldn't afford one in New York. New York's just crazy expensive. So we moved to the South, happily ever after. But I didn't really completely abandon New York. I used to go back and visit once a year, hang out with friends, see family and stuff like that. And in the beginning, I could go for 7 days. And I noticed as time passed and New York seemed to get crazier, 7 days went down to 5 days, 4 days, and then 3 was about as much as I could take before I had to get the hell out of there. The tolls were expensive. New York, can you believe, just across the Verrazano Bridge, one bridge was $17. I think it's maybe $20 now. That's crazy. $20 to cross the one bridge. When I was a kid, the tolls were $1.50, $2, and now they're double digits. Just everything's so expensive in New York. Insurance is crazy high, on your cars. And this is a car-related issue, this story. Let me give you an idea how prohibitively expensive auto insurance used to be in New York. When I first started learning how to drive and got my first car, I learned pretty quickly that you can't just buy any old car that you want, even if it's a car you think you can afford, because the payments alone don't dictate if you can afford the car. Insurance was so high, it was like a car payment in and of itself. I learned that what you do is you get a list of cars, starting with the car that you like, down to the car you can tolerate. And you call up your insurance company and just ask for a quote. What's a quote on a Corvette? All right, that's crazy. How about a BMW? Not that one either. And by the time you got down to a Ford Escort or Toyota Corolla, right in there somewhere was the sweet spot for me, and with a Corolla or something like that, because that's how you had to shop for cars in New York. Seriously, you had to look at the insurance rate first before anything else, before you decide you like the car or not. We had a little trick that we would do sometimes. If you had a relative, I don't care how distant the relative is, in another state like Jersey, you would use their address to register your car in Jersey. The rates were cheaper. And there were a lot of us New Yorkers with Jersey plates for a little bit, because New York is all about getting over, until they fixed that, not by lowering the interest rate and the insurance rate in New York, but by increasing the insurance rate in Jersey. So it's just as bad now. You could probably thank us New Yorkers, New Jerseyans, for effing that up for you, because we were taking total advantage of that. I should feel bad. So back to the story. So out of all the horrible things that have been happening in New York to make it more expensive, now there's this. Climate activists deflate tires on 40 SUVs in New York, cops seeking suspects. With all the problems going on in New York, I highly doubt the cops putting all their effort into this Scooby-Doo mystery. Climate change activists claim they randomly started deflating tires on 40 SUVs parked on the Upper East Side this week. That's an expensive part of town. Leaving behind flyers that warned your gas guzzler kills. The tire extinguishers, I guess it's a play on fire extinguishers, and they spell tire in a way that should give you a hint as to where they're coming from. TYRE. The tire extinguishers, a group that was originally started in the UK and England. Go figure. They're probably, it's 4th of July or Independence Day. They're probably a little ticked off about that whole tea in a harbor thing. It's either that or, we sent them BLM. That probably weren't appreciative of BLM. But I think the worst atrocity we did was we sent them Madonna. I gotta admit, that's pretty bad. So, if all they're gonna come back and do is slash a couple of tires and they keep Madonna, I say keep slashing those tires. So anyway, they boasted of targeting dozens of vehicles on Tuesday night, what activists described as its first ever action in the Big Apple. Oh, I'm so proud. Thank you, UK. The tire extinguishers have disarmed SUVs in New York City for the first time. The group wrote on their website. They got their own website, GoDaddy. 40 SUVs had their wheels deflated in the Upper East Side, home to the greatest concentration of individual wealth in New York City. Yeah, Upper East Side is very expensive, and the other thing that they probably don't notice, these tire extinguishers, is that most of the people in the Upper East Side agree with them politically, probably across the board. They agree with them on, I bet, on abortion, on climate change, on taxation, all that stuff. So they're slashing their biggest supporters' tires. Makes sense. Cops said they're investigating after receiving several complaints from 2 SUVs being targeted in the area, NYPD told the Post today. A 49-year-old man alerted police after he noticed 2 of his vehicles, which were parked on the East 65th Street with deflated tires before 12:30 a.m. Man, he can afford 2 SUVs in New York. You know he's rich, because like I said, that insurance ain't no joke. They've been leaving notices in people's windows to add insult to injury. They're looking at your flattened tire, and then they tell you why. I'd rather just not know. I'd rather just think some guy maybe I was dating some girl, and she got jealous or something and slashed your tires. At least that could make you feel a little better than just some SJWs attack your SUV for nothing. Anyway, so it says, attention, your gas guzzler kills. We have deflated 1 or more of your tires. So if you either deflated 1, I guess feel grateful they only did 1. You'll be angry, but don't take it personally. It's not you, it's your car. This is reading like a Dear John letter. It's not me, it's not you, it's me. We did this because driving around in urban areas in your massive vehicle has huge consequences for others. This is a machine that destroys life with terrifying efficiency. They're talking about a car? Anyway, car companies try to convince us that we need massive cars, but SUVs and 4x4s are the nails in the coffin of our climate. SUVs are the second largest cause of the global rise in carbon dioxide emissions and in the past decade. And they basically they're saying planes don't, the aviation industry doesn't put out as much pollution as the SUVs. I don't believe that's true. I did a little research before. I think planes because the whole transportation industry only puts out 16% of the carbon dioxide out there, so it's a small amount of the overall carbon dioxide pollutants. I don't really consider pollutants because plants need this stuff. But it's the cars and the whole transportation industry, which includes boats, planes, trains, automobiles, like a show. I like the movie. Great movie, by the way. They only make up 16% of all carbon CO2 pollution. So they're not even close. The world is in a climate crisis. According to the UN, millions of people, including New Yorkers, are already dying from climate change-related causes: droughts, hurricanes, floods, forced migration, and starvation. To me, that sounds Like a bit of government's involved in that because no one forces migration or starves more people in the 20th century than big corrupt government. Not climate change, big corrupt government. Mao Zedong and Stalin killed millions of people by starving them to death. Now the bullet fired, they're just bad, horrible government policy that led to the intentional starvation of millions of people. No SUVs. Sorry. Even if you don't care about the impacts, I'm just continuing, by the way. Just ignore my, when I ad lib, it should be obvious. Anyway, even if you don't care about the impacts on our children's future or the people around the world, there are immediate consequences for your neighbors. SUVs cause more deadly air pollution than smaller cars. SUVs are more likely to kill people than normal cars in collisions. And I like how they throw this one. Psychological studies show that SUV drivers are more likely to take risk on a road, and SUVs are are unnecessary and purely vanity at the expense of others' lives. A lot of this sounds like opinion. I've read some of the studies on, and some of them are UN studies, on some of the biggest killers of people around the world, and it's indoor pollution. It's not outdoor pollution, it's indoor pollution. Millions of people die from burning burning wood and dried animal dung in third world countries. Reason being because even though some of these third world countries have their own petroleum that could be used, they have their own oil and natural gas resources, they're not allowed to use them by the corrupt government and also by Western nations who like to extract the oil and natural gas from these other third world countries and leave them to sit there and wait until they develop solar and wind power, and then then these third world countries will be allowed to enter first world nation status and have economic growth. In the meantime, burn your coal, burn your animal shit, we don't care. And that kills people because when you burn wood inside, when you burn animal dung inside, it puts particles in the air, they get lodged in your lungs, you get cancer, you get tuberculosis. Again, millions die not because of the petroleum industry, but because they have a lack of access to petroleum energy. So these guys, these tire extinguishers, are absolutely wrong, and while what they may be doing is maybe amusing to some and annoying to others, in the long term, they have their story completely wrong, and it can cause harm. And eventually, if someone catches you slashing their tires, that harm is going to come directly to you when someone, curb stomps you as they're trying to poke a hole in their $700 tires. Anyway, any of you people who think that you're going to get off if you're driving a hybrid or electric car, they're telling you at the very end of the letter, the tire extinguishers are coming for you too. It says driving a hybrid or electric, those are still polluting, dangerous, and cause congestion. See more on our website. I like how that see more on our website. It sounds so positive after they slash the F out of your tires and cause you probably a couple of $100, if not a couple of grand in damage. So that is that. Again, another reason why I'm not moving back to New York, even visiting. It's just a madhouse. But that's my opinion. What's yours? Like, share, comment, and subscribe.